Gurubhyo Namaha. Once upon a time, there lived a sage Parashara Maharshi. His son was Parashara, also called Krishnadvaipayana or Badarayana. This Krishnadvaipayana divided the single huge Veda into four different parts. He called his four disciples of many more he had, and threw the vast knowledge he had regarding Veda in four parts to each one of them. The first disciple Paila learnt Rigveda, the second disciple Vaishampayana learnt Yajurveda, the third disciple Jaimini learnt Samaveda, and the fourth disciple Sumantu learnt Atharvaveda. As in Sanskrit means throwing. Since our Krishnadvaipayana threw Vedas to his disciples, his name hereafter became Vedavyasa. Before Vedavyasa, Vedas were learnt only by preachings from master to disciple. There was no other mode of learnings. Since Vedas were only learnt by listening and hearing, Vedas could also be called as Shruti. Vedavyasa is very profound in his subjects and compiles 18 Puranas, also known as Ashtadasha Puranas. They are Vishnu Purana, Bhagavata Purana, Narada Purana, Garuda Purana, Padma Purana, Varaha Purana, Brahma Purana, Brahmanda Purana, Brahma Vaivarta Purana, Markandeya Purana, Bhavishya Purana, Vamana Purana, Matsya Purana, Kurma Purana, Linga Purana, Shiva Purana, Skanda Purana, and Agni Purana. He also compiles Brahma Sutra, based on which Dvaita, Advaita, and Vishishtadvaita paths are derived from. As he compiles Brahma Sutra by sitting in Badarikashrama, he gets the name Badarayana. Now, he has a conflict within himself. Since he divided united Veda into four parts, he felt people may just do learnings in any one of the parts and stop it, meaning the gnana or learnings might be limited to any person based on his act. One fourth of gnana is only served, but not the whole. One fourth of punya is only served for those who believe. So, he created a new Veda which is equal to four Vedas gnana and called it Panchama Veda. All this is now in his mind, which is Smriti, and should be captured somewhere so it cannot be lost. Once started to write, he can't think of many things. Once started thinking, there is possibility to get lost and writing cannot be progressed. It takes a long time since the process could be very slow. So, he thought of dictating it from his Smriti so that someone can pen it down or write it down. While he thinks of what are all the possibilities, Lord Brahma appears in front of Vedavyasa. Same thing had happened to Valmiki Maharshi before he could start writing down the Ramayana. Upon Brahma's assurance, Valmiki Maharshi then started Purunama Katha, which translates to Srimad Ramayanam. Now, Vyasa Maharshi greets and does upachara to Lord Brahma upon his arrival. Lord Brahma observes that Vyasa Maharshi is thinking of something and doesn't wear a happy face or doesn't look confident, and tells Vyasa Maharshi, I understand your problem. I sense that you want somebody to write down the things you have in your Smriti. I know someone who can do the job for you. I am going to tell you, and he is none other than Ganapati. Pray for Ganapati, he will come and write down whatever you say. Now, as per Lord Brahma's assurance, Vyasa Maharshi prays Ganapati by chanting Mantra Raja. Ajam Nirvikalpam Nirakaramekam Niranandamadvaitamananda Rupam. Ganapati, who appears in front of Trinity, is as follows. Ajam, which means no Janma or no birth at all, which means a power which prevails all the timelines permanently is Ganapati. When there is no birth, that means there is no end to birth at all. The second thing is Nirvikalpam. Vikalpam is something that changes. Nirvikalpam is there is no change. Nirakaram, no face or body at all. We portray Ganapati as he has a big stomach, he has a snake around his stomach, a rat below, but Trinity could just witness a power without any body. The portrayal we do is from Advaita's point of view. Ekam, Om, a single primordial sound. It represents the origin of creation, ultimate reality, and universal vibration. Nirananda Advaita Ananda Rupam. We as people, or I as individual, cannot be happy all the time. We might have any hurdle or any pain, problem, or grief which keeps an individual away from happiness. So, when an individual takes an Advaita route, he could reach Ananda state, which is nothing but Ganapati state. Advaita. Advaita's route is very plain, a path where there is no secondary, a path where there is no superiority or no inferiority, a path beyond status and hierarchy, a path without any highs and lows, a path without any discrimination, a path which is equal and non dual. Now, any individual following or taking the Advaita path goes to the Ananda state, a happy state which is Ganapati himself. Now, when Vyasa Maharshi recites the mantra Raja, Ganapati appears in front of Vyasa Maharshi. Ganapati asks Vyasa, "What is the reason you called me out?" Vyasa Maharshi says, "I have a very large thought in my mind and have visualized everything that needs to be there. But it must be captured as I have to form sentences using words. I would be forming sentences, and as and when I say, you should be writing them down. Please grant permission and help me doing this." Ganapati says, "I have a lot of other works to do, but since you asked, I will agree, but upon a condition. You should be reciting relentlessly without any delay, and I would be writing it down. Also, writing in the sense I must be doing the etching part and engraving the verses on the palm leaves. So, if you stop reciting or telling, I will stop writing and go away. Around 1 lakh shlokas with 2 lakh verses should be recited and told without delay relentlessly from Vyasa Maharshi. Vyasa Maharshi agrees to the condition, but on another condition. He asks Ganapati to understand whatever he recites before writing and not blindly write it down. Ganapati agrees. Now, whenever Vyasa Maharshi thought he would need extra time to form upcoming shlokas from his vision, he created very difficult verses then and there, so Ganapati needed some time to understand, and also he could think in the meantime. Finally, the reciting and writing came to a conclusion, and now they have a very big grantha or a book. They named it Jaya. It got a bit bigger and known to many. They called it Bharata. It still got bigger with many lakhs of shlokas and got spread. They now named it and called it by Mahabharata. Vyasa Maharshi starts with Narayanam Namaskritya Naranchaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Chaiva Tato Jayamudirayet, meaning having bowed down to Narayana, the Supreme Lord, to Nara, the perfect human, Arjuna, and to Goddess Saraswati, one should utter the word Jaya, the Mahabharata.